Hello, and welcome to 97.9 Unity Radio, the best political show. What are you complaining about already?
You're not in the picture.
Oh,
Adjust yourself, for Christ's sakes.
okay.
You're the best podcaster ever, but they can't see you. Maybe that's a good thing.
Well, I'm trying not to give you a blowjob, so
But
that's I didn't.
That would make you the really best podcaster
I
in the
didn't-
universe.
I didn't want to get too close.
You'd be a living legend.
Right.
We would make radio history. There we
Call
go.
me they them.
Yeah, I still don't understand that.
They them.
The whole pronoun thing. Yeah.
Well, you have to realize something. If you feel that you're not who you are,
Well, I'm non-binary.
there's more of you there,
Okay.
right?
Right.
But non-binary, you could be.
I can be any.
You're across the spectrum.
I could be a tiger.
At some point in the day, you could. But the whole idea is, you just if you identify as more than one, he, him, okay, gotcha.
He, him. Right.
Yeah, she, her, gotcha.
Right.
They, them. Now there's something wrong.
So
you're saying there's more than one of you.
Okay. Right.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with
So
gender.
you're either bipolar, tripolar, quadpolar, right? Or you have a twin, it looks just like you. There's more than one.
Boy,
We had a guy.
We're starting off with a bang right
this
here.
parent, this kid that played basketball with my son, his father has a twin brother, and when I say that they look identical, they are identical.
Identical twins.
And the size too, because they're like 300-pound guys, and they the same body structure, same everything, voice,
Right.
crazy,
Right.
crazy.
Well,
They them.
I didn't get to my introduction, but this is the
Please.
best political show going today. It doesn't matter where you are, I guess. This is Rebel Republic. I am the best podcast and radio host in the universe, Steve Cully. With me, as always, the voice of reason himself, Frank Cristiano,
Yes.
and the coach himself, all the way from New Jersey, because he cares so much about his republic, Coach David Schuman. Coach, good to see you again. It's always a pleasure. Yes.
I love my republic.
You do love your republic. You do
My
love
rebel republic.
Yes. It's probably the most innovative name around as well. I don't think anyone has your creativity. So we're grateful for that. And we did our show last night, and we happened to watch parts of the debate, and it was quite enthralling. But we'll just start overall with general thoughts of the debate. General thoughts, Frank.
Well, I think the only thing you know what? In doing the show, we only had it on. I didn't even have closed caption on because I don't know how to turn it on in my kitchen. I got a TV. I have no idea how to.
Well, yeah, you've read about it. You've heard about
so
it.
We watched a few minutes, and then we discussed a little bit. And then I went back and watched about 15 minutes, and I'd had enough. I know what I was going to see.
That's what I told my parents.
This debate did nothing to change anyone's mind about anything. I'm 100% positive. If you were going to vote conservative, you were going to vote conservative,
right?
And if you were going to vote liberal, you were going to vote liberal, no matter what happened in this debate.
Right.
There are very few people, I think, that are on the fence. Now, the only thing that troubled me was this: when they kept turning back to the fact-checking room.
The fact-checking.
And
yes.
I thought it looked like NASA.
It looked like the draft room.
Well, it looked like NASA, right? It looked like, they had 29, 30 people at the tables. They're frantically searching the internet because the internet gives you truth.
Yes, the internet is full of truth.
So
yes.
they're searching a place that doesn't give you truth because where are they? Do you think they're going to Fox?
No, they're going to Google.com.
Yeah, exactly. Controlled by who? So that was the only entertaining thing for me. I just I don't. And speaking of fact checking, they fact checked the president 5 different times.
Yeah, Kamala didn't get
right, and especially when David Muir said that there are no states that he knows of in the Republic that do abortion, full term abortion.
Late term abortion.
Full term.
Yes.
He says there's no states. So that's totally incorrect.
Yes.
Even the fact checkers are wrong.
Yes. The fact checkers.
So after a while, you learn one thing in these debates. There is no truth.
Yes, there is no
There is only your truth in your mind about what you believe in, and that should direct you to where you need to vote.
Yes. And I remember as I left my house, my parents were shocked that we were going to do a podcast on debate night. And I said, we pretty much know what's going to happen. I said, I don't think Frank's going to miss anything. He already knows how everything's going to turn out, debate or no debate. And that was my answer. And that was the answer that you gave. Dave, your initial thoughts, overall thoughts on the debate and the performance. I didn't realize how short it was. First of all, it seemed kind of short to me.
It was an hour and 15, maybe an hour and 20, somewhere there.
Are they always that long typically?
Well, yeah.
I thought they're like 2 hours.
They only have so many questions that they can roast Trump with. After a while, there's nothing left to ask.
Well,
it's no doubt it was a 3-on-1 or 4-on-1 debate, versus Trump. I think Kamala, for her side of it, like for what she had to get accomplished for her base, she probably satisfied her base. Like if you were to ask them, they would probably think she did well. If you would ask Trump supporters and Republican, they probably would, for the most part, thought that Trump really did well. I think the difference for me is that Kamala really had ABC on her side. She had the whole entire on her side, and they didn't test her at all.
She got no follow-ups.
Yeah, they spent all their time trying to test Trump. It was I was a little I don't know. I mean, he wanted to debate her, but I would have liked to have seen him debate on Fox as the first debate. Maybe they wouldn't have done it. But I know Fox is now working to try to get both parties to debate. I don't know if that will happen. But I thought overall, I thought Trump did good. I thought he did a fine job. I thought he got her in certain things. I thought Kamala was what I expected her to do. She flip-flopped obviously on a lot of her stances. She didn't hold firm to any to answering questions on her old stances that she changed. They helped her get away from those questions. I think Trump got her where she was the czar on the border, and obviously
the border czar. Yep,
border czar didn't do anything. I think that she focused heavily on his supposed transgressions with January 6th and
being a felon.
Yeah, which a lot of it I thought was nonsense, to be honest. But to me, it seemed like most of the debate, none of it addressed anything as much as possible the independent voter, who is really the ones that are going to maybe dictate the possible election. And then finding out what addressed that. I thought Trump was, what I expected him to be. I thought she was actually at what I expected her to come across as. I just think she's very, very unlikable. But obviously I lean to the right. So, I think a lot of the things, the stances she has, and, she doesn't answer any of these questions on fracking. All of a sudden she's a fracking fan. She's not Trump talked about how we were oil independent. My question is that I looked at the polls of different people, for basically most people think that Trump did better, but if you only watch certain channels though, if you watch CNN, ABC, NBC, and everything, 90% of it's bash Trump, so they're gonna claim some sort of great job by Kamala. If you watch Fox, you would get a different kind of thing. It would be more towards Trump. The question is, what do the voters who haven't made up their mind really think about it? And that's I wonder what that answer is. I thought Trump did really well.
Undecided, right?
Yeah. The hardest thing was that one thing I thought was this: whatever her stance was, she didn't fumble over it too much. Even though I didn't, I don't agree with what she has, and I expected her to somewhat fumble with it, but she went all in on her prosecutor mode, all in prosecutor Kamala.
She did.
That was her angle. Her angle was, I go after the bad guys, and in her mind, Trump is a bad guy. That's the way she views it. I thought it came off as very, very prosecuted style, like she was a prosecutor, which turned me off. But I thought Trump handled her really well. I think he kind of focused on most of the things that were important. He nailed her when he said, "Well, I don't really know what your policies are, so I can't attack your policies." Basically, she hasn't come up with a policy. But that was kind of my thoughts on it. I think Trump did better. I expected him to do a little better, and I think it was 3-on-1 from ABC, Kamala, and whoever the other moderator attacking him.
Oh, it was 32-on-1. I mean, you got 29 fact checkers too.
Right.
All independent people. No, don't you just need one fact checker?
Well, maybe he doesn't know how to use the Google search bar.
29 people? Come on.
They're all on Google or Yahoo.
It's a farce. It was a show. They're trying to show how knowledgeable and compassionate they are because they need to give you the truth.
Right.
We need to give you the truth. There is no truth. There is no truth. The only good thing that they did, that Kamala did on her side, is she stoked Donald Trump a little bit, and it's easy to do that.
Well, I think he likes it too. I think he likes it.
He does, but the thing is that sometimes will throw him off course of where he should have hammered her, and he hammered her on certain points without a doubt. Okay,
yes.
But there's a ton more that he could have gone after to actually have her explain how are you going to handle certain things. And if you don't, if she gives you what she's smart. She just like you said, she attacked his character. She attacked his criminal record. She attacked, everything but attacking what he plans to do.
And
unless she brings up Project 2025.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, just as of recently on her website, she has some kind of a platform. She didn't have anything before that.
No, they
just had a fundraising. All they had was send money.
They copy and pasted, they said.
Yeah,
the stuff from the Biden.
Her website, her campaign website, just basically had a statement that said, "Please send money. Send us a big donation. Send us a small donation. Send us something."
Right.
Whereas Trump put his whole agenda on there, whatever Agenda 47, whatever it is. So he put everything out there, and that's the difference. I just think what I'm learning about this political theater in the last 12 years is that people. And certain American people like mental comfort more than physical comfort. You understand what I mean? They like to be. They like to feel all warm and fuzzy.
I want comfy clothes.
Not even clothes. They want to feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
So whoever can make so what it is, it's like you're a female, and
you're
looking to date, right? But you're looking to date, so you go and you start to date this guy, right? And then a few months in, this guy's the best guy. He makes me feel so good and so great about myself and so warm, and he's such a great guy. And then the following week, you're getting the snapshots of him banging some other chick. The other girl send it to him, right? Yeah. So that's basically what they do. They get you up front to be all warm and fuzzy,
right?
And then they nail you in the ass in the end. That's the problem
with no lube.
Possibly with no lube. I wouldn't doubt it at this point. If there's more than one person doing it, they don't even know who they are. Sure, but my thing is that I thought Trump needed to stay a little bit more on course of how he's going to direct the guidance of his entire policy for the American people.
Yes,
and he's been good about the middle class. That middle class is where he's in the state with the millionaires aren't affected.
No,
the millionaires are
the least affected.
They either hate him or they're donating to him, right? Okay,
yeah.
So but that middle class person or that inner city person who's just had enough, they can't listen. Today, my insurance company canceled my homeowners and vehicle insurance.
Why would they do something?
Because in over 5 years, we had 3 claims. I had a water leak in my ceiling. I had something in 2020 in a wall, which they gave me a couple $1,000 for. And then my son backed into a car by accident. It barely looked like there was any damage. I started out by wanting to pay it out of pocket. And then the guy said it was $7,500. So I put it through insurance. I put it through insurance, 3 events. The insurance company, the regulators come in and they go, we're losing money on this policy. We dump them. So they just dump me. So now I re-signed. I got a new policy. Everything is doubled. Doubled. My homeowners did not, but my car, the 3 vehicle insurance has doubled. So
Wow.
That's the person
I've
they have to
gotten
go after.
47 accidents.
That's the person they have to go after.
Yeah.
That's the American that's had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. I don't give a crap what kind of help they want to give people. I cannot vote on the Democratic or liberal side agenda for all the shelling out of money, right? And me being left here having to pick up the bill because I feel that doubling of insurance is somehow funneled its way into everything else.
Well, the inflation,
inflation, higher wages to everyone, higher cost of them doing business too. So that's the guy you got to go after. That's the female you got to go after. The ones that are suffocating, they've had enough.
But if it $7,500, do you have an opportunity to have it looked at by somebody else to get another estimate, or is it just based on them?
There were 3 companies. That my insurance agent looked through, and that was the best offer. 75 for car insurance. It doubled. Car insurance doubled to $7,500 a year.
Wow.
The prices of everything are going through the roof, and
right.
That's a huge
I can't even imagine down in Jersey. It's got to be higher than here, right? Being in,
they're probably somewhat similar, but I think that when you type in Google Harris versus Trump, it's so interesting to see how Google slants everything.
Yes.
NPR,
what comes up.
NPR, which is liberal, says Harris won by a landslide. Washington Post, which is liberal, says Harris won, so on and so forth. You go right down the line. BBC, New York Times, right? And that's what comes up first in the search.
Yes.
If you say Harris versus Trump. So what do Americans see?
The search engine. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's huge.
Google. You can't tell me that these things are not coordinated efforts for the algorithm to pull up what is positive about a certain group. Washington Post's articles before it pulls up, I don't know, the Daily Wire, right? So, and I that is a concerted effort. Trump is fighting all of that. And what's amazing to me is that, I mean, I don't know. I'm so shocked that more Americans can't see the fraud of what the Democrat Party is trying to pull off.
Well, most Americans are dumb, I think.
Well, I think it's really because
we're ignorant.
You control the media.
Yeah, you control the narrative.
You control the narrative, and though more people, I think the thing that's in Trump's favor is that more and more people are cord cutting and not doing that. Stuff. So,
streaming.
Yeah, they'll come across, if they type in something into YouTube, which is owned by Google, but if you type in something positive for Trump, you'll get positive for Trump stuff. Google's different because there's purely a search engine, and whatever their algorithm that bias is going to come up. But it reminds me of, when I see all these things, it just reminds me of like the whole thing when the Israelis were captured and held hostage, and all of a sudden the slant of the liberal media was that the Palestinians were the victims when Hamas attacked the Israelis. They're able to manipulate the media towards the left and in a certain way that Americans who do not check a second source or an alternate or okay, let me see what the other side is thinking. The person who just types things into Google, is the same person that's going to be out there protesting. It's the same for not even know. And that's why I think it's so interesting. If you ask these people why they're voting for Harris, they probably couldn't tell you. It was the same thing when these people were marching. So what are you marching for? And, did you know that this was going on? Did you know? And people were like, no, they're just marching. They're just blindly marching, So yes, there are obviously people that believed in these things too. But what's happening with the liberal media, Trump said it way back when he was running the first time.
He did.
That stuff was going on. But it's exponential at this point. Like David Muir, he might as well have just had his big I'm a Democrat sign right on his chest so he could just spare us all the nonsense. that he's somehow trying to be fair, like interrupting
And
Trump.
objective, yes.
His questions weren't even questions; they were basically answers that he wanted Trump to
Address.
answer, like to address. Yeah, exactly.
When you incited the riot on January 6th, how did you feel?
That was his question. That was almost exactly the question.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with every one of those things from abortion to his policies on, like, when she started talking about how Trump was bad for immigration. I was like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's in charge of the border.
She was the czar.
That's what Trump should have done right off the bat to David Muir. When David says, okay, Mr. President, David, just a second. I just want to ask you, you were the one that reported on your news channel and you called Mrs. Harris a czar, right? And she was the border czar. I remember you saying that. You don't remember that? Let me pull up the video. That's what they need. They need video screens behind.
That would be great.
That's what they should do on the next debate. Video screens right behind to be able to give you the actual statements that were said.
Show it right
and there's your fact checker right there. That's what Trump should do. That here. Oh, you know what? He should have his own staff. If they want to have 29 guys and women at tables with internet, that he should have a videographer, a guy who's running the screen and being able to pull up. Okay, hold on, Dave. We're going to pull up clip number 6 of you saying that Kamala Harris was the border czar back 3 years ago.
No. When she started attacking him on, like, being, convicted or whatever, and then
it's going to get overturned anyway.
And she said about the sexual things. All he should have just said is he should have just stepped into the mic really softly and said, "Willie Brown."
Right.
And he should have just said that 5 times and just dropped the mic and walked off stage.
Right.
And
Google Willie Brown, Kamala Harris. Can
you fact check that one, David? David, fact check Willie Brown for us, please. Could you pull that one up?
Yeah, David, can you pull up Willie Brown? No, in fact, she is not his daughter. She was his mistress.
Yep.
Yes.
What a great thing.
I also wanted to ask, I heard on the ride up here that the head of the Secret Service is retiring. He's getting a nice retirement and pension and being sent on his way.
He just got the job.
I know.
The woman who which
no one? the whole head of the Secret
Service okay,
is being allegedly forced into retirement, not getting fired, not getting anything like that, not getting punished. And the Secret Service agents who had worked that day,
of course, he's getting fired. Of course,
are working, but they're just working from home.
Of course, he's getting early retirement and pushed out. He messed it up. Trump should be dead.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. He's still getting to retire.
I thought that was the assistant director of the Secret Service, Michael.
Maybe it was the assistant. I heard. I could have.
The head is the woman who is a woman who was in charge of PepsiCo.
Right.
I think
she resigned, though. She resigned.
Yeah, she was forced out. That's right. And then this person stepped in.
Right.
And this person.
And he's
he accepted retirement. There's no punishment.
Sure
nobody's being held accountable.
Because if Trump wins, they're going to open up the investigation on how he almost got popped in the head with Secret Service people that I mean, first of all, whatever they did to clear that whole area was ridiculous. I don't know how the guy got through with a rifle in a bag with a couple hundred rounds, and climbing up.
Ready.
Exactly.
He might as well have said, like, "Guess what I'm doing, guys."
No, and
walking up to people like
the Secret Service agents, they're working from home. How does a Secret Service agent work from home?
Well,
the people that were working that day,
they do exactly what they did.
They didn't get in trouble. They didn't get put on unpaid leave.
They're doing exactly what they did that day in the field of Pennsylvania.
Nothing.
30 seconds late to the fridge, 1 minute late to the laptop.
I don't. What is a Secret Service agent? How do you work from home? Your job is to be with someone to take a bullet for them.
Yeah.
You can't take a bullet for anyone being at home.
No, some agents had to give the layout information of the field where the campaign was. Some agents had to divulge, where the openings in the gate would be that you could sneak in a rifle with bullets. I mean, come on, it makes sense, Steve. What are you talking about? See, that's the thing too. That's the thing too. Here's the thing: when they fact check, and higher education has done this. Higher education, and that really is what burned our minds. And that's why so many people need to be comforted by someone who's soothing as a candidate, and not someone who's blunt in your face. So the whole idea is right now is that higher education makes them so smart that they think any other opposing view is automatically a conspiracy theory. Anything that is opposite of what they believe in is not just possibly wrong or possibly right. It's a conspiracy theory. Everything is everything. Anything you could think of that is not in the liberal eyesight is a conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
So they are brainwashing people who believe in what they say that everything else is garbage.
Right.
So you can never have an opposing view to actually open it up and look at it.
No.
Say, you know what?
No, they don't want that.
There may be some truth to this.
They
Maybe I have to dig a little deeper.
Just move on.
That's it. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see.
That's a car accident. Nothing to see here.
Well, if you go back all the way to the 1800s, look what they did with John Wilkes Booth. There's still people that don't think that he did the shooting, and his body was cremated and dumped at sea. And they thought there was a big conspiracy.
You mean like
the
body of the shooter in Butler, Pennsylvania, where they cremated his body before they could even do the autopsy?
That's what I'm saying. It started back then.
That's amazing.
The whole Wilkes Booth thing.
That's amazing.
They think he survived in the fire and got out or whatever. And
how they wrapped up
and lived his life.
Osama bin Laden's body in a shroud. You couldn't see who it was, but they dumped him into the ocean.
Yes, they did. Burial by sea.
And maybe he's on a beach somewhere in Bali
with Tupac and Biggie.
Right,
yes.
absolutely.
Well,
of course.
The best thing of today was Joe Biden was speaking to a group of people.
Oh, when he put the hat on,
and they asked him to put the MAGA hat on, and they cheered when he put it on. He put it back.
Moron.
Well, priceless.
What would you expect? I mean, the guy's gone. I mean, he's gone. He's out of his mind.
They promised him an ice cream.
They promised him free ice cream.
So I'll put the hat on. We'll give you a free ice cream with every hat.
So, Dave, you mentioned the independent, and Frank did as well, the independent voters. So CNN. The independent voters, pollsters, they were surprised at the reactions that Trump got. And one of the big issues, the focus group comprised of 7 Democrats, 5 independents, and 5 Republicans, and was represented by blue, yellow, and red lines. And when Trump spoke of the rising crime at the hands of illegal immigrants, the independents went strikingly to his side. And Lee Carter, who is a pollster and president of Malinansky, I believe, Malinansky Partners, said she was shocked to see the independent voters tracking with Republicans so closely on this issue. She was really surprised because of the intensity of the independent support that was there for Donald Trump. I did not expect it, she said. And I think we all can say that because there's been such a rise in crime.
People don't want to get jacked or killed. They don't want to get jacked or killed. That's bottom line what it is. There's no shocker right now and they're saying crime is down. Where are they getting these numbers from?
Well, they go to Google apparently.
Right, they must. And those numbers, I don't understand. It's just like when they say inflation. Inflation is the best inflation time since 2021. I don't remember paying anywhere near what I'm paying now as opposed to 2021.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So I don't know where they're getting these numbers from. But bottom line, there's a ton of people now that are going to vote conservative, Republican for Donald Trump, whatever you want to call it.
Well,
because of safety, because of fears, because of the border. And I thought he harped on the border too long last night. I thought, you know what? All right, stay with the border for a little while, but let's move on. There's a ton of other stuff you can hit.
Yeah,
and he kept going back on there. I thought it was a stretch with the cats, with the cooking the cats. I thought that threw him off target a little bit. People start, because you know what? I'll be honest. It sounds crazy. It could be true. It sounds crazy. It could be true. I know there. I've seen town hall video where people in that town are going in and complaining about the Haitians chopping off geese's heads and eating the geese. Right?
They might.
So
might
so it sounds crazy, but bottom line, when he starts bringing that up, that's what turns the switch for many people. I'm like, oh man,
why am I watching this?
Here it goes. Here he goes again. Here he goes. Doesn't need that. He doesn't need that. He needs to stay on point with what really matters to the average American, not just to the person who's already has their vote, but to those ones that maybe there's a few out there that still are undecided, like you said, some of the independents in there. I still think I think they're all full of shit. I think they've already made up their minds on who they're voting for. I don't think it matters one bit or another. You are either sensitive or you're not sensitive in this country. You understand what I'm saying? You can either take a joke or you can't take a joke.
Right.
If you can't take a joke, you're a freaking liberal.
Well, it's like what Jimmy said.
Liberals cannot take jokes.
They're just jokes.
Right. They can't take jokes. So bottom line, if you can take a joke, you're voting conservative. If you can't take a joke, you're voting liberal.
Dave, what do you think about this? That, it swayed so heavily when Trump started talking about the crime that has risen because of the illegal immigrants. And, they felt strongly in his favor that something needed to be done.
With the illegal immigrants? Yeah, a lot.
Because of the crime, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot needs to be done. In America, like, it was founded on immigration, but not illegal immigration. And the whole principle behind immigration was simply the idea that you could come in, if you come in the right way, and have the opportunity to be like everybody else and have that same possible opportunity. What we have now is illegal immigration, and it's rampant. And the problem with illegal immigration is you don't know who anybody is. And Trump has to double down on this. Like, you don't know who they are. These towns are getting little towns are getting taken over by either immigrant gang members or just a band of immigrants that decided to, hey, we're going to take over a portion of this town. And guess what? It's coming to a town near you, because it's not like, oh, it's in the big cities. Aurora, Colorado is not a big city.
No.
So it's coming to a town near you. And if any town does not have a way of handling that, or a city or a state of handling illegal immigration, and the nation doesn't have any policy on it, all you're going to have is, first of all, the Democrats want it because they think they're going to get more votes. But those people aren't even voting, okay? Those people are, the majority of them, overwhelming majority, those people are not even voting. Basically, all you're doing is you're trying to create as much havoc as possible so the government can have control and say, hold up, we'll come in and solve all of this. People are having guns and we'll buy,
buy back. Yep.
We'll buy back. And you know what? These things can't be on the streets.
The assault rifles. Yeah.
The next thing is we're going to have to, prosecute people who do have these guns and they don't want to do the buyback. And it's more than just a situation of, it's illegal immigrants. We're going to have it's an invasion of the United States that we are allowing. That's the difference. It's not an invasion like
we're welcoming. Please come.
Chinese come over, or an enemy of the United States comes over and says, we're coming over to take over your country. It is an invasion that we're allowing because our and most of the places are liberal politicians, but the liberal politicians want to allow this to happen, period, end of story. They like the invasion. The invasion creates chaos. And chaos means that the government can hand out more checks, raise taxes, squeeze out business, and And listen, I thought it was a joke when Kamala said she's going to help the small business owner. Really? You know who you're
No.
helping? You're helping the large corporations. You're not helping the small business guy. The left is helping gigantic corporations do better.
Yeah,
Do
that's all they
better.
want. Yeah.
Amazon does better, and I buy Amazon. I mean, I'm a purveyor of it, but I like their service. But they are helping those corporations because the fact that it's much more expensive for a small business owner if they wanted to start a t-shirt company or a clothing line or
Right.
a electronics line or invent something new. It's wildly expensive for them. And the way that it's gone and become the only groups that you can get funding for a lot of these smaller businesses that want to grow fast are the groups that for the most part have voted on the left. Private equity, right? And they control all these corporations. Private equity controls these corporations. The small business people do not have a chance. And when she says that she's going to help small businesses, I mean, who's she kidding? How are you helping? That's what I would ask. I would
She
ask,
never says
how
that.
are you helping small businesses? What
She got
are
the
you doing?
next follow-up.
The
She
tax
never
credit.
got
They're
asked
going to give you.
how.
They're
Yeah.
going to give you a $50,000 tax credit. Big deal.
Yeah.
I need the startup money if I'm a small business.
Exactly.
Big deal.
Exactly.
Tax-
It's
to
not.
get going.
It's not.
I got to
help.
make something before I can give you tax money. It's stupidity.
Yeah. And also the independent pollster, they said that the independents tracked heavily with Republicans on fracking, abortion, and the economy, which also surprised this independent pollster.
You know what this tells me right off the bat? We are in line for a huge Democratic win in 2 months.
You don't believe this?
I
You don't believe
just no, I do believe it.
It's
That's the problem. What I'm saying
okay.
here right now is
The
if
independents.
this is coming out again, both sides, both parties, both the think tanks live and die off of these polls.
Yes, they do.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what drives them.
That
That's
is.
what drives every movement, every fundraising event, every comment, every position that they take. So bottom line, if they're looking at that, then now the think tank on the left is saying, all right, we got less than 60 days, and the independents are swinging to the conservative side. What are we going to do? Well, what game plan do we have to go by? There's the game plan of 2020.
Oh, here we go. You think
you're
that
going to
there's
have
going to be
some sort of catastrophic
10,000 ballots
event.
being submitted?
You're going to have some sort of catastrophic event that is going to change the course of how we're going to actually send in the boat, pull the lever, whatever it may be.
Right.
There's going to be something that's going to deviate from the
Oh, you mean
normal
like
plan.
COVID?
Yeah, right. COVID 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, that's far fetched. That is a conspiracy
Well,
theory.
it's too.
But
too
my thing is
too-
right
too
now,
late for that.
if you look what's happening in Congress and the bill that is trying to get passed right now by the House Speaker Johnson, they're looking to get a bill passed that includes every voter having to have proper ID
Exactly.
and
Yes.
register, and
Yes.
to be a citizen.
Yes.
And that is not going to pass.
No.
Even
no,
some
no, not
and even
close.
some
I don't-
some in his Republican Party are opposed to passing this.
Yeah.
And why, I don't know. I don't understand that, whether they're in an area that is opposed to that as well. I have no idea. But that is what is needed right there is voting regulation.
You don't know. Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's the most important thing you're going to see happen within the next 58 days, whatever's left, as far as what they're trying to get pushed. And if it does even get in, it'll be too late because you're getting so close to this election. How can you implement that?
No, exactly. Exactly. It is too late. Dave, what about you? I mean, do you think that becomes an issue? Do you think the election is going to be fair? Do you think it's going to be at least fairer than 2020? Or do you think there's still going to be chicanery that goes on?
Well, let me ask you this question: do you think criminals are ahead of the curve or behind the curve?
They're always one step ahead.
I think they turn in all their illegal guns, Dave. I mean, I know they do.
They got the buyback.
Yeah, the buyback.
They got the buyback. Yeah. No, I agree. I think they're absolutely one step ahead, and maybe they do have a plan in place to get those votes that are necessary in the swing states and get them for Kamala. But I would hope they've learned their lesson from 2020 and somebody steps up, and maybe the Republicans or, like you said, the military. There's some protocol put in place. There's still plenty of time, but you don't think there is enough time to implement any policy on voting to change how it's done?
No, I think it's too late. I mean, but
it's going to happen.
It'll be stalled through any kind of political channels now, anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, but I think that is something that is desperately needed, and there needs to be a way to systematically check people that are, number one, registered. Number two, see the whole voting.
So you're telling me
I
can go to a poll,
yeah,
and I can vote without having an ID, without showing some form of ID?
That's correct.
When was the last time you voted?
Oh, I voted in 2020.
They just open up the book with me. You get there, they open up your signature book.
Exactly right.
And they say, "Is this you?"
Well, I have
that's me.
Okay,
that's me. Vote. That's it.
Me. All you have to know is the person's address.
Oh, wow.
And their name, and you can go in there. Yep, that's me.
Yep.
When did that change?
It's always been like that.
I think I would say, I used to have to show.
I thought you had to show ID, or maybe that's only
about. Maybe it might have been. You know what? It may go all the way back to like 2008. I mean, maybe the last time I showed actual. You're right.
Oh my God!
Last year when I voted, I don't. It must have been a local election. It was the signature. That's all it was.
And they ask you, you just that's my address. That's where I live.
You sign your name on something, and
it should be identical.
They match it. I mean, if you listen, it's a joke. If I knew your signature, and I went in there, it was kind of within remotely close to how you sign it, which is pretty easy to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I could be Steve Cully easily.
All it is has got to be, hey, Steve, how you doing? Hey, you going to vote this year? I'm not voting.
So cool. you know the people who aren't voting, so you can go in and vote for them.
You do or you don't. But bottom line, if you walk in and you say, I'm so-and-so, and you write your name on there, then the real guy comes in, let them figure it out. You don't know what's going to happen with that vote.
And there's a lot of people lined up to vote, so they don't have
no idea to show.
You don't show. You don't know who it is, right? You don't know who it is.
Wow.
And the thing is and most of those people working the polls, they're senior citizens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to
look and they okay, looks.
What are they
looks
supposed
good
to do? Yeah.
And they're all. Most of the people live in your neighborhood, so they're going to know you one way or another. But a lot of times there isn't. In a big city, forget about it. A big city, who do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I agree. And Frank, you had mentioned this, and this came out, I believe, today. Taylor Swift and the Swifties. Taylor Swift put her support behind Kamala, and you had said that you believe the Swifties will have an impact on this election.
I did.
You did. You said it weeks ago, and shockingly, I heard that this could actually backfire on Kamala with men. The male demographic will not side with Kamala. What are your thoughts on Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala?
As a voice of reason, I never really thought I'd said that Taylor Swift's
you said the Swifties. You said the Swifties.
We got to fact check that.
I would fact check.
You 100%.
Let me turn
around.
David
Muir. David, what is it? Is Frank's conservative? Oh no, Frank did say it then.
That was the night.
Yes, he did. We have it right here in AI. We have it right here in AI. Him saying it.
That was the night when you had a little bottle next to you.
So was it?
I don't know if you remember that. But you really have no recollection of saying that?
I have no recollection of saying that. I know we talked about Taylor Swift, but I don't know if the Swifties are going to have.
You said the Swifties were going to have a big impact on this election.
Yes. I thought Frank said that, and I could be wrong because I'm really trying to remember this, but I do remember the conversation briefly. I think Frank said that some of the Swifties could vote Republican. I
Yes.
think he did say that.
Well, that I agree with.
He did. He said he
Yeah.
thought the Swifties would have an impact because she has such an impact. She
Oh.
put her voice behind Kamala, and now they're saying that this may backfire for Kamala with male voters who are Swifties.
I think with female voters as well. There's many a female voter that's a suburban housewife that's conservative that is not going to follow some 35-year-old performer who sings songs and tap dances on stage. That's you don't make your policy decisions and your life decision. I don't listen to John Bon Jovi.
That's what the guy on Fox said.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't make
John Bon Jovi told you to vote for Mike. Yeah, who's the guy I asked you about yesterday on Fox? The radio guy.
Oh, Hannity?
No, the other guy. I can't remember.
Gutfeld?
Mark Levin?
Yeah, him. He said if John Bon Jovi told me to vote for Michael Dukakis when I was 18, I would have voted for Michael Dukakis.
Really?
That's what he said.
Well, then he's an idiot. How did he get the job? How did he get this job now?
That's what he said. He said they have so much influence. The entertainers and people from Hollywood. Their fan base will vote that way.
Even as a young kid, I would have never taken advice from a band or from a movie star or not. I took advice from my mom and dad. My mom and dad were the driving force, right? Because I grew up with them. They shielded me. They informed me. They guided me into who the person I am. Why would I?
So that's
why would
who you
stray?
okay.
Right. Again, why would I stray? See, that's the thing. That's when you do too much hash, or you smoke too much dope, or you do too many drugs. Then you start listening to Dave Grohl.
I listen to Hulk Hogan, so that's why I would vote for Trump.
You're messed up too. Then
how about Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany Mahomes? They say and Taylor Swift now butt heads because she's Brittany Mahomes is for Trump.
She's conservative, right?
She's conservative.
Well, she
obviously Patrick Mahomes would never say. I know this is not our sports show, but Patrick Mahomes obviously probably would never say because of wanting to appeal to his fan base. But my gut tells me that he's probably conservative if his wife's conservative.
Well, he wants to keep his money.
Yeah.
He wants to keep, those people want to keep their money.
Yeah.
Now, what is Travis Kelce? I think Travis Kelce has to be to the left if he's with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I think that 100%.
Without a doubt.
100%.
You got to realize.
I don't think Jason is, though.
He was a rebel in college. In high school and college, the guy was a rebel.
I don't think his brother is, though.
No, I think his brother's more conservative than he is.
And his wife is, too.
I think he's probably middle of the road. My guess is he's probably middle of the road.
I agree.
The one good thing, I know that you have spoken out about Caitlin Clark and how she's brought more eyes to the game, and the WNBA got more. They got a great TV deal.
Yeah,
Caitlin Clark actually did a mature thing. She was asked about the debate and who she supported, and her response was all she could do was say, "I encourage young people to register to vote."
Right. So how are people going to take that?
I think that's great that she did it.
No. How are the haters of Caitlin Clark going to take that?
No, I don't,
exactly. Exactly.
You think that's what that means?
She would have said she's for Kamala if she was for Kamala.
You think she would have come right out and
said
she
would have?
100%.
Okay, I thought
That's
she was
Diana Taurasi who she's voting for. Guarantee.
Oh,
100%. She's voting for Kamala. Ask Sue Bird who she's voting for. You bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah,
the fact that she didn't say anything tells me she's voting for Trump.
Right, or at least she leans.
Or at least
she comes from where's she come from? Iowa. Right?
She comes from Iowa. Yes.
What do you expect?
Well, no, I thought it was very mature of her to say that instead of coming out and endorsing someone. So you think she said that as a defense?
Anyone that does not say,
okay. I was saying she could have said everybody buys sneakers.
That's what Jordan used to say.
That was Clay Travis's book. Republicans buy sneakers too. Great book, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Because everyone used to.
The whole thing was how they
it can't alienate a whole side.
Why would an athlete? It kind of goes back to like Michael Jordan. Like,
yes,
we're like, why is it Michael Jordan? But like, why would Michael Jordan want to alienate like both Republicans buy sneakers too. So that I think it was Jordan who said it or something.
It was.
And I'm sure Jordan now is probably leans right, even if he doesn't vote right, he probably leans it. But yeah, so I think that's a true fact as an athlete. It's actually, to me, like you see coaches take more political viewpoints because they're not an athlete, and then even though their check isn't derived necessarily because of the athlete, because of the sport, but because they don't have endorsements as much, they can take more of a stance. Athletes in general, it's actually a little bit surprising to me that so many do, like LeBron takes, a stance one way or the other, because
100%.
basically, like most people, if they like you as an athlete, they're going to buy your stuff if you kind of toe the line, for the most
Exactly.
part. I mean, I always thought that was the genius of Michael Jordan. I'm sure he has his views of what he likes and what he doesn't like, whatever those views are. But hey man, like I'm not going to take away my cash cow. Like that's just stupid. So, and he can help a lot more people because he doesn't take away his cash cow. Why take away your cash cow if you can help a lot more people? Who you can help the people that you want to actually help.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? But if you alienate somebody, and I think that affects, like you see sneaker sales, you say, man, sometimes guys' political stances does affect their sneaker sales. There's no doubt about it. If half of America you alienate, that's half of America who no longer buys your sneakers for whatever. Ask Kyrie Irving, who had one of the top selling shoes, and has so many of his kind of wild views. His
really.
I don't even know if he has a shoe anymore. By the way, his shoe was a great guard shoe too. That's what drove me nuts about it.
Kyrie went off the rails.
My son wore them in ninth grade. We got the fly
Great
trap.
shoe.
We had his daughter's shoe, the pink, where
yes,
daughter
great
designed
shoe.
it. It was a fantastic. That's the best shoe my son's ever had.
He went off
best
the rails.
Shoe my son.
Oh,
It was the best basketball shoe my son ever had, but it's hard to get them because he was like a flat earther. He was anti.
Yeah, the vax and all that.
This, anti that,
The Kanye West of sports. But see,
he couldn't play.
The thing is that, and damn it, I lost my train of thought of what I was going to say over here like that. What the hell were we just talking about?
Well, no, it was because I was going to ask you about Jordan. Jordan took a ton of heat.
I know what I was going to say.
Because
you had mentioned coaches, and how they can be more. The coaches have to be more outspoken on issues like this, voting and race, because
they do.
Look at their locker rooms.
They do.
I mean, you could be a head NBA coach, and you have 16 players on the roster, and 15 of them are African Americans. So you can't sit in that locker room and defend anyone who is merely suspected of being racist or insensitive. So so football, baseball with minorities in baseball are huge. Latin Americans right now,
Hispanic,
and basketball. Hockey's the only sport. If you ever seen that, there's one hockey clip. I forget who it is. I think it's a college coach or whatever. And he rails on his guys for 10 minutes, and he goes, "You shut the F up and you listen to me." That's the only that's basically the only sport left where you can say something and be a little more conservative in your thought process,
right?
Because the balance is still more white than African American or white than a minority. So I understand why coaches are more outspoken, and they have to be. Whatever it is, you guys aren't going to play for you. Guys, if they think you're a racist,
no, they don't.
Donald
Sterling. But are there conservative? So in football, I would think used to be a lot more conservative, but it's definitely not now.
No,
used to be a lot more conservative coaches. But my guess is like
guys have gotten fired over
Nick Saban. I would be shocked if he wasn't conservative. I would be shocked if Kirby Smart wasn't conservative.
Right.
But he's not gonna take the. Obviously, Lou Holtz is conservative.
Well, Dabo Sweeney has to be conservative because he has more white players than African Americans on the field. Was that one guy said? I forget. He was a former player for Clemson.
You said that.
He goes, "I'll tell you why they lost." The guy says because they got no black guys on the field. That's what he said. I'm telling you.
I think he said too many white guys at skill positions or something like that.
That's it. Yeah.
Roddy White said it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, but I think overall, I think that's interesting how like, yeah, if you look at basketball, for example, Popovich obviously is to the left. Steve Kerr.
Oh.
Steve Kerr is always an interesting thing because his father was
At the embassy
yes,
in Beirut.
yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know
He's
that.
one, yeah,
Killed.
he was killed in that Beirut embassy.
Yeah,
What
but
about
he's to the
what
left.
about Hurley? What do you think Hurley is?
I don't know.
No
Hurley's not going
idea.
to tell you.
No.
And that's how it
I
should
guess
be.
his father is. I would say now. My guess is his father is conservative.
Yeah.
Probably originally was a Democrat because he was a police officer. So I'm sure you obviously union guy. So he probably originally was Democrat. Probably my guess would be he's more conservative now. I have no idea what the Hurley brothers are, but my guess is that if they're not conservative, they're middle of the road, for the
Yeah.
most part. And I would guess that you'd have guys that might be tend to be conservative. But if you look at like Bill Belichick, he's conservative.
Well, and he's proud of it. Like he won't shy
Tom
away from
Brady
it.
is conservative. So
Won't
my
shy
my
away
whole
from
thing
it.
that's the thing that bothers me, the bad rap. It has zero to do with how you treat your players and how you coach your players up and what their viewpoint. I remember many years ago when I was coaching, I want to say it was the 20 Obama was president in 2012,
12.
right?
No.
So, and then 2008, Obama became president. I think in
Correct.
2012,
He
he
was
ran against,
reelected.
who did he run against? Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney.
So I remember my players, somehow they got word that I might be conservative, right? And I coached my team. My team was mostly Dominican and African American on my starting kids, even though the school was probably mostly like Korean. Actually, I think I would say it was like 60%. But my 22 starters, those kids were most of them. Maybe there's one or two that weren't, but the mostly African American or Dominican.
No
And great
Koreans?
players, great kids, like just fantastic. And it was a terrible program.
You had the good Korean running back.
Yeah.
In 04.
He was David Hahn. I don't know if he
Yeah.
was Korean or was I
think he was Taiwan.
He was. I thought it was Japanese. He was like a kamikaze. We used to call him. He'd fly like a missile at 140 pounds trying to make tackles. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Dave.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting because they asked me that, and I actually explained to them why I at the time leaned to the right, more to the right than I was back then.
Oh,
but
so you explained it.
I explained it to him. I said,
Good.
do your parents enjoy keeping most of their money, or do they want to give their money to the government? And they every time you present it in certain ways, people are like, yeah. But then they still go the other way. But I said, well, that's why. I said, listen, I don't care what you do socially, but here are my kind of social beliefs, right? Like, I don't really care what somebody does. I don't, people can be whatever they want. And that's the thing that I think that's often misconstrued with like conservatism.
100%.
It's like, oh, you're against trans, or you're against, women being, absolutely not. Like my wife makes more money than me, like good for her. Right. And I think of it from a standpoint of people can be whatever they want. I just don't want that being preached into my home or pushed into my home. Right. That's the difference. And I think that's what makes me conservative. It's not that I don't think someone should be whatever. Someone wants to be trans, that's up to you.
It doesn't affect your life.
It doesn't affect my life. I think you shouldn't be going in and talking to kids about this stuff. I don't think you should be, someone becomes an adult, 18, they want to do whatever the heck they want to do. It's not my job to tell them, what they can be and what they can't be. I have my beliefs. I believe in Jesus Christ, and that's my, for me, that's my savior. And that's, I have my beliefs, but people can believe whatever they want. My whole thing is you're not going to come into my house and tell me how I should live.
Right,
you don't want me to come into your house and tell you how you should live. Don't be coming into my house telling me how I should live.
Dave, so you're telling me after you gave the speech to your kids You didn't say, as a conservative, you did not say, okay, guys, now black guys line up over here and Dominicans line up over there. You didn't say that. And one Korean guy in the middle. Come on.
Absolutely, that's so funny. And you know what? That team went to the state championship. And they were like a united kid. Those kids to this day are like I get along phenomenal. They're my
one of your
favorite groups ever. Probably my favorite, and that I've worked with. And I've coached it all. I've coached it when my team was all minorities. I've coached with teams that were mostly Caucasian. I've coached all different, you name it, different type of thing. And I think that the theme overall is that's what we misconstrue. Like, people have certain beliefs in how they want to live and how they want for their family. And that to me is what conservatism is. We don't want people telling us that we want to be able to, right. We don't want you taking away our freedom of religion. We don't want you taking away. Right. And that's some of the things that's happened where it's like Christians are the enemy or even bigger, the Judeo-Christian thing, right? So if you're a Christian, all sex, sects, S-E-C-T-S of it. Yeah, so I have to explain that now, right?
I need that.
Jewish, right? Like, but we have people saying, "Oh, we don't want Christians being able to live this way, or we don't want Jewish people to be able to live this way." But if you were to go and tell someone on the left, oh, hey, we don't want Islamic people to do this, they'd be like, oh, you're an Islamophobe. No, what we're not saying that people who believe in Islam could live however they want to live. We don't want you touching our Christianity. Okay, we don't want you touching that. We don't want you telling us that, and Jewish people probably believe the same thing in that. They don't want them to. America was founded on Christian principles. We don't want you alienating those Judeo-Christian principles, right? And so that's.
It wasn't Protestant. We were Christian.
Who?
America. I thought America was Protestant at the time.
Well, I think America was a lot of different. Benjamin Franklin was a Quaker. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what George Washington was, but like there's Protestantism was obviously
big in England, right?
That was one of the big.
You're right. They were fleeing Protestantism because it was becoming too strict.
But the whole point of it all is that you could be whatever you want. It's not designed to be legend. I like what Steve starts talking about. This is great, right?
Like he pulled that out like he was a history major at UConn.
No, I remember.
I was waiting for you to go in, Frank. I was waiting for you to go in on him, as you can say we were Protestant.
No, I got it backwards. England was Protestant.
Luther. What about the Puritans?
It was too strict.
Luther sent him the book.
It was too strict. It was too strict. That's why.
And he gave me the finger too. He's like, that's why. Got it.
Steve gets the scarlet letter S for Steve.
I forgot. I just got it back. I got it backwards.
Listen.
We fled England because of
this country. This country was the opening grounds, a stepping stone for everyone to flee.
Correct.
Famine, disease,
yes,
taxes,
yes,
religious persecution. Whatever it was
Ellis Island. Give me your tire. You're sick.
And we took them. Everyone was taken in because we needed citizens.
Yeah.
We needed to build and construct and develop
new
land. Right. Okay. So and so now we're not taking in citizens for any of these reasons anymore.
Well, we're not taking them; they're just coming.
Well, that's just it. But we're not. I mean, there's no checks and balances.
They can't apply though, right? So
but why would you do that? It takes you 2 years or 3 years to get in if you apply.
No, I that's why they're illegally immigrating, and that's why they're getting across, and they're getting $10,000, and so that's why I think me and Frank and Steve, we. If it hits the fan, we just have someone drop us off over in Tijuana, which is a fun place anyway, and we get dropped off at Tijuana. And
Can we immigrate there? Is that?
Well, I remember the first time I went to Tijuana, I didn't drive across. I actually walked. I parked in San Diego. I walked in. My brother was living in. He went to college, grad school in San Diego. He's like, we're gonna walk across. I've done it a million
There's
times.
like a hidden gate you can cross. You can walk through.
No, it's like you walk into Tijuana and you're walking in these back alleys, basically. But I'm coming from America into Tijuana, and then you come out and you pop out, and you're basically in Tijuana.
You're right there. Oh my God!
It was a walk. Yeah, I mean, it was a walk. It must have been I felt like it was maybe it wasn't a mile, but it felt like it was a mile. And so we walked across, and this was America to Tijuana. So I'm sure, we might have to, if we go over to Tijuana, we might have to jump into like a couple of rivers.
Well, I remember
I ran an event many years ago at, I think it was Cesar Chavez High School, which was, when we came there, it was in San Diego. I think that was the name of the Cesar Chavez was the famous
the boxer.
Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yes, the boxer.
Yeah. No, not the boxer.
Oh, Cesar Chavez is a rebel.
Political leader, right?
Yeah,
Cesar Chavez?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You're right, though. Cesar Chavez was the boxer, right?
Yeah,
but so I was running the camp, and the coaches there, they go, see that field out there? And I said, yeah. They said, well, we have to be done with practice at a certain time, because once it gets to nightfall, people start crossing. There's
Are you serious?
Yeah, they were on the border. The school was on the border.
It's open field.
Wow.
It's open tryouts every night.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Walk-ons.
That's crazy.
They're called walk-ons.
Wow.
Walk-ons. I want to say it was Cesar Chavez High School, but I can't. I'm not. I bet you I'm right, because I'm usually pretty good with that. But yeah, I was like, wow. And I'm like, wait, so people just run across? They're like, run across. It's not a regular border stop.
Right.
Was their point? It's not a border stop.
Yeah.
It was one of the
throw.
Yeah. If you look at it at night, you could see the hills of I think it was Tijuana, or the neighboring town from Tijuana, and it was yeah. So if it hits the fan, we go on the Tijuana side. You
still know where to go. Okay.
We collect go. We pass go. We get our 10K.
I like that.
That I'm for.
Well, it's been another stirring, spirited discussion on Rebel Republic. Yes,
that's all we got.
Our time is up, unfortunately.
We have limits.
Yeah. Well, it's on the radio, so yeah, there are limits. I'll give you the last word, Frank. Overall on the debate, happy, satisfied, as you said. Really didn't affect you.
Could have cared less about it. I knew what Trump was going to do. I thought Harris comported herself a little bit better. Granted, she may have had the Bluetooth earpiece in the whole night. I know it was a ring or earring. We've never seen that before.
And the pin. She wore the pin.
She wore the American flag pin, which I haven't seen that before. All of a sudden, she's pulling out all stops to seem normal in this political race. You know what? Again, just vote your conscience. I think everyone will do that in a way. It's hard to open up some people's eyes and minds. They've already made the decision. They hate a person so much that I don't hate Kamala Harris.
No, I don't.
I don't think Kamala Harris.
I don't think she's very intelligent.
Is qualified for the job. Yeah. Now, Donald Trump is qualified for the job because he had the job before
and did well with it.
And for certain people. For the ones that dislike the way he presents himself, the way he talks. I mean, the one thing that stood out for me too is that
his policies.
She said, well, all the United Nations leaders couldn't stand him, didn't like Donald Trump. Good.
It's not about liking.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want anybody. I don't want hugs and kisses. I don't want hugs and kisses.
Not a popularity.
I don't want hugs and kisses. If the fair paid him out, I dig that.
Yeah.
Right. Why do we have to pay more?
Right.
Why do we have to pay more?
Right.
We've done more in 240 years or 50 years of existence in this country than the rest of the world has done combined in 4,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So now why do we have to bear the brunt of that?
Yeah.
Right.
We're being punished.
They're the ones. they're the ones that are walking around all nose up in the air and confident. The French and the English and the
Italians.
Well, the Italians are always like that. Even Australia is laughing at you. And like, hey, you know what? F you.
Yeah.
F you,
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
You're insignificant.
Yeah. You mean
Yeah,
nothing. You mean
Australia.
nothing.
What would happen if China decided they wanted Australia? Australia would then be called the Australian Republic of China.
It would be the t-shirt capital producer of the world.
Yes. Child labor. All
so
that
you're
stuff.
insignificant.
Yes.
If you are insignificant in this whole globe, see, that's the thing. That's the other thing that pisses me off about liberal thought. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is included.
Everyone has an opinion.
It's not.
You matter.
It's not. It's not.
It is.
It's listen, life.
It's got to be fair.
Life is like the Kenyan safari. The biggest and the meanest make the rules.
But that's not fair.
What?
That's not fair.
Who gives a shit?
Oh.
The fucking lion does not care about anything else. He is going to eat that doe.
The hyena. The lions eat the hyena.
No, they don't.
There's no does in the jungle.
Yes, there's those
there's deer.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking like the antelope.
Antelope, whatever the hell it's called.
They're not does.
The biggest and the meanest make the
does are
rules. That's it.
Okay.
So you know what? Play ball with the biggest and the meanest.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Dave.
My question is, among the big cats, Frank.
Yeah.
The lion, the tiger, and the cheetah.
Sure.
Who is your favorite?
That's tough.
Well, I like the cheetah for sure.
Well, the cheetah is obviously, the cheetah's the fastest. I still have to say the lion, because you see a cheetah, you think of speed. When you see what was the other animal you gave me?
Tiger.
Tiger.
You see a tiger, okay.
I like the white ones.
You think of aggressive, you think of when I see the lion.
I do. I like the albino tiger.
The albino tigers.
Siberian.
Those are some of the girls you've dated. You've dated some of them around here, those albino tigers.
Yeah.
So, but the lion is still king of the jungle. He demands immediate respect when you come near him, right? He and
he'll bite your head off.
Absolutely. And whether it's 3 versus 1 lion or 32 versus 1 lion, like that debate, the lion is still going to get up there and fight till the end.
Yes.
And that's the guy, or that's
who I want representing.
That's who you want representing you.
Yes.
I don't want hugs and kisses. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't.
No. Hugs and kisses don't put money in your pocket.
They don't. And I want money.
And your homeowners and car insurance.
I'm telling you right now. Listen, if I can pay you in Solo cups and Gatorade bottles, that'd be great. But I can't. I need cash.
You know what you could pay it in though?
What?
Doggy daycare.
The lion is the quarterback of the team.
Yes.
The tiger is the defensive end.
I like that.
And the cheetah is your wide receiver, running back, right? Depending. That's who they are. So who it's funny. Growing up, I always liked the tiger, right? But as I became an adult and became mature, I realized the lion is the one that has the skill set required to be in charge and to be able to lead
and survive.
Now, do you know the only animal that the lion won't mess with?
I thought it's the hyena.
No,
the offensive linemen, the elephants.
Oh, the elephant.
Lions do not mess with elephants.
Oh, okay.
And be careful with elephants on parade, because that's a bunch of linemen taking you out right there. Be careful of elephants on parade. Although, where does the nose guard fall into that?
Well, we'll figure it out. It'll be
nose guard, head dog or something.
It'll be a good thought for next time on.
That was great.
I just want to notice again. I'm wearing my Turtle Boy shirt. Free Turtle Boy. Aiden Carney, Worcester, Massachusetts. The Karen Reed trial. It's going back to trial in January. You have no opinion on this? Who cares? He was indicted on 16 counts of witness intimidation that he shouldn't have because of freedom of speech. And I stand by Turtle Boy. And if you read his blog, you would be on his side too.
I don't care.
So I give a shout out to Aiden Carney and Turtle Boy. And I sent him this podcast, and he responded to me with a thumbs up.
There you go.
And it made my night.
Perfect. Send this to Kamala Harris. Maybe she'll give you a thumbs up too.
Yeah, well, we'll send it to her on Twitter for sure. We'll send it to her on Twitter, and we'll see how she responds. For Dave Schuman, Coach, great to have you. The voice of reason. The voice of reason.
Always here. The voice. I am the stabilizing force.
Yes.
Of what you do.
Yes.
Because you're off the rails. I'm just
yes.
trying to
you
keep
are lying, Frank. You are lying.
I'm the lion. Yeah. I'm at the end of my lying career. That's the problem.
This has been Rebel Republic on 97.9 Unity Radio. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and